Hello my astrology friends, this is Lada from Astrolada.com and these are your September 2023 video horoscopes. And September we have 3 planets changing directions. What does it mean? Your life will change direction. 3 planets, Venus is turning direct, Jupiter is turning retrograde, Mercury is turning direct, which those 3 planets rule 6 out of the 12 houses, which means 6 areas of everyone's life will shift, will change. With 2 planets turning direct for the better, with 1 retrograde, maybe it will just change, take a different direction. Doesn't have to be negative, just an alternative direction. But 6 areas of your life will be shifting, big changes. I'm very excited. Before I start, I just want to let you know that I've compiled for you around more than 600 transits of transiting planets to natal. It's a written ebook. It's interactive. You can click on the transit you're interested in and it will take you to the text, very extensive text, what each transit means. Or you can watch your transits on my personal transit calendar, which is for free for everyone for the next 4 or 5 days always. But this book is a work of love that I've created over 4 or 5 years. Me and my teacher, we've written all the transits in depth. If you want to own it for a very small amount, it's hundreds of pages. An early bird will get a big discount of 30% on this ebook. So let's start with the horoscopes. Sun, Moon, Rising, September 2023. Leo, some of you passed through your own personal valley of death with Venus retrograde in your sign. There might have been some complications. It was retrograde for 40 days, the whole of August, and just the first 3 days of September, and it's coming to an end. For some of you, it was love complications, dissatisfaction with relationships, or just being confused, They call that Venus retrograde is like when the Jews were lost in the desert for 40 years and they were going in circles looking for their land. So it's the same, like Venus goes retrograde for about 40 days and in your sign it happens. So it might have felt like you were a little bit lost as to where you're going, the direction, maybe sometimes quite frustrated, but also Venus retrograde maybe brought you back a lot of people from the past you haven't seen, reconnecting even with loves or friends from the past, clarifying certain old situations. But there might have been some critical moments definitely in personal relationships and in regards to your health as well, especially when Venus was also invisible in August and retrograde as well. But all complications that were happening, they're gonna start untangling. So that's the very big good news for Leos. From the beginning of September, when Venus turns direct, Venus is already visible as a morning star. It's kind of in the phase of Athena Palace, and it will give you courage, it will give you strength, and Venus will stay in your month, in your sign till the end of the month. So it will be very auspicious time after the more difficult period of Venus retrograde, of resolving old problems. They all settle down. Things start going more predictably, not only predictably, but with a lot of protection for you, with especially Athena Palace Venus is very initiative. So you can initiate new things, new projects that will go well. You can be protected physically. You can start feeling healthy as well, whether it's your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. You can start feeling more joyful, graceful, calmer, more zen. Definitely you can, even by the end of this process, when Venus leaves Leo, you might be more attractive. And this whole month will be really good if you want to do any beauty procedures. They would go fantastic. Something new in regards to your looks. The Athena Palace phase of Venus is initiative. It's bold. If you want to improve even like surgical interventions and so on, well, maybe not that extreme, but anything with your appearance, with your looks, or even you can naturally just start looking more beautiful, more balanced as well, more attractive. You can attract others with your energy, with your peaceful and feminine but also bold energy. It's bold femininity in a sense. You can generally, when Venus will be in such a good state in your sign for the whole month, it can be better for money, for finances, for relationships overall. You can be more graceful And because of that, you would attract a lot of more synchronicities, positive developments, more luxuries and pleasures, go to good hotels, restaurants, food, all of those, pampering yourself. Well, of course, don't be overindulgent, but it's a good time. It's starting to get better time, basically. Well, there might be, of course, some complications because we're going to have Mercury retrograde till the middle of the month in your second house. So there might be some, and you might be rethinking, for example, your values. Well, Venus was making you do that already because Venus is naturally the energy of the second house. But I think like you're very protected. Even despite of the Mercury retrograde, you just have to be a bit more careful till the 15th with this Mercury retrograde in your second house, that you don't lose valuables or anything that you might consider that is valuable for you, that it might be damaged or compromised in some way. Or you might rethink your budgeting, for example, where you put your money or where you invest them. Your eating habits, you might rethink a little bit, correct here and there. But when Mercury turns direct from the middle of the month, which is on the 15th, and then becomes visible on the 17th, and it's exalted in the second house, this bodes really well, first of all, for your finances from the middle of the month. So you can start a new initiative in your finances, for example. You can start new money making. Mercury is being born. And it's visible. That's to become visible is to be born, and it's direct from the middle of the month. So new financial initiatives and projects, new investment that can turn out really good for you. For example, you might, from the middle of the month till the end and the first few months of October, even might come up with some idea where to invest or how to make more money, or you can do some beauty, also something with your teeth as well that goes really well. This is all second house energies that Mercury in the second house rules. But so I think that you're gonna start feeling better already from the beginning of the month with Venus turning direct, protecting you there, bringing all those Venusian things. You might still have some worry with money till the middle of the month or some adjustments. But if you want to do something important in regards to your valuables, in regards to your finances, do it after the 15th. It will be very auspicious to invest somewhere, to buy something important. Say if you're going to be buying something that is expensive. Is it a laptop? Is it paying for a website? Is it paying for a business something? It doesn't equipment or any other valuables. I would advise you do it after the 15th, 16th. After, when you do it from the 15th onward, it will be very auspicious because Mercury is exalted, visible in its own sign, and so on. And if there's some complications in your family, because second house also is connected to family, again from the middle of the month with the new moon again on the 15th is the new moon, on the 14th I think, it all starts improving. Any kind of complications with family members, in family situations or in your financial situation starts improving from the beginning, from the middle of the month. And last but not least, Jupiter goes retrograde, and that's at the beginning of the month. So you see again changes of when planet changes direction, something will change, and Jupiter goes retrograde in your 10th house of career. So that will be, so there's few ways it can play out, and Jupiter goes retrograde in your 10th house once every 12 years for around 4 months till the end of the year approximately. So there can be a big shift that starts happening with your career. Some of you might decide to go back to work if they haven't worked for a while, or go back to an old job, or maybe pick up some project they haven't completed that needs to put extra efforts on, and I'm quite sure that by the end of the month, by the end of the year, you'd complete it. But of course, a retrograde planet requires 3 times more effort because a retrograde planet is much closer to the Earth. So it's much stronger. So this focus on your career or public image or something changing with your social status is very big. It's very palpable, especially this month when Jupiter is turning direction, and the whole like October, November into December, while it's retrograde. But the planet that is closer to Earth is heavier as well. It's like the energies are a bit heavier, a bit slower. So It might be good time for the next few months to complete some project you haven't completed. Like I'm working on a project that hopefully I'll complete. And by the time Jupiter turns direct, sometime in December, you would be able to complete it. And retrograde Jupiter in the 10th house can give you an alternative perspective. Maybe you imagine it to be one way, but you'll see that there are alternative ways to do it. There is something that you can correct to make it better. And usually Jupiter brings old opportunities from the past that you haven't finished. So some project, pick it up, something you've left, or something old that you've created already in your career, rebrand it, change its face somehow and put it to the public. This is very beneficial activities that you can do during Jupiter retrograde in your 10th house. And examine your career. Some of you might feel like, oh, maybe I don't like this career anymore. It's a change of mind about a career, change of mind about a project, change of mind or change of a relationship with a boss, for better or worse. I don't know. Usually things tend to slow down a bit during that time and require extra efforts, but the final result can be much better at the end of the period, which is when Jupiter turns direct. So these are some of the very important events, Leos. I think you're the most important sign, one of the most important, together with Virgo this month, because the retrogrades are happening in the most important places in the horoscope. It's your sign. Venus is turning direct, so big shift of direction. And Jupiter in your 10th house, big shift in direction with your status, with your career, with your work projects, with father figures, in the life of father figures or bosses or institutions and so on. That will be a big focus for not just in September, but for a few months ahead for you. And because Jupiter is retrograde, it's a benefic planet, so it should bring good stuff still. But it means that you need to bring life back into something that you've already started or something that you've been thinking about as a project or a direction. And you might have to work extra hard. And I definitely know that. For me, September, October will be very busy periods because I'm preparing something that I do every year, going back to something that you've done before. So hopefully it goes smoothly. I hope the same for you. Also check out all your personal transits, because this is just very general prediction in my transit calendar, which is free for everyone. And it shows you your personal transits for the next 4 or 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, for a week usually. Every time 7 days ahead. So thank you so much, Leos. Hope you enjoy now. Venus retrograde in your sign. Sorry, Venus direct in your sign. Finally you'll definitely start feeling much better.